What's up, y'all? Today we're talking Gloomhaven on Let's Play with Josh Saleh. This game is a monstrosity of a board game. It is massive. I think it weighs somewhere to 20 to 30 pounds. It is going to take up a lot of space in your bookshelf, but you're definitely going to play a lot of it. Gloomhaven shattered Kickstarter board game records when it was released in 2017. Started as a Kickstarter, but now you can certainly buy it kind of pretty much anywhere. It's around $100. You might be able to get it for a little bit less, a little bit more, depending on where you're shopping at. The game is designed by Isaac Childress, and the publisher is Cephalofair Games. The artists are Alexander Elichev, Josh McDowell, and Alvaro Nebbit. The playtime could be pretty long depending on how many players you play with and what quest you choose, but it says an average of 30 minutes per player. I would probably increase that a little bit more for strategy and decision making. You can play with 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, though I would strongly recommend playing this with the 4 players you have, because then you have a campaign, a group of people wandering the world trying to save or destroy. What are you going to choose? Gloomhaven, it is huge, it is massive, 20 to 30 pounds. This game comes with so much stuff. I bought the extra stickers because I was like, hey, I'm gonna replay this game sometime in the future. I did not do that, so I bought the removable sticker set. Up to you if you want to buy the removable sticker set. But the cool thing about the removable sticker set, sold separately, is it gives you all of the quests and what it unlocks and how many times you've done it, and you can check mark it, and it kind of gives you a really nice breakdown of the game. Does not give you in that booklet right there. So first thing off the bat, when it comes to Gloomhaven, if you know Dungeons & Dragons, if you're a huge fantasy, Lord of the Rings style, Game of Thrones style fan, and maybe you want to go on a large campaign with your friends or even by yourself, Gloomhaven is that board game. It takes Dungeons & Dragons and it makes it a board game of it. The thing about Gloomhaven is it doesn't give you the complete customization of your character, much like Dungeons & Dragons or say Skyrim, the video game, but that's okay. You still get these awesome characters that are your tanker, your spellcaster, your healer, your archer, your area of effect attacker, you know, fill in the blank there, and you get to choose the name, choose how you want to spend those skills, what quests you want to go on, what items you want to unlock, so you have that complete control of where you want to take your campaign. Now the game has tons of stuff. I've organized this game on my own because the one thing about this game it doesn't do well about is it doesn't give you any organizers. You're kind of stuck bare bones with this game. So I installed my own organizer. There's tons that you can buy online, but they're very, very expensive. And for me, that's not really worth it. I don't want to spend $75 to $100 on an organizer when I just spent $100 on a board game. You have your rule book, which is 51 pages long, so we're not messing around here. We have the campaign booklet, which is so big. It's 121, if not more, pages thick. We have more boards, as you can see, because the campaign's always changing, so you're constantly building out different levels that you are going through. So if there's a quest in a cavern, you will build out a cavern. If there's a quest in the forest, you will build out a forest. You have the map in Gloomhaven as well, and you'll put down stickers on what you've unlocked throughout your campaign so you know where you've gone. And that's where the removable sticker set comes in. You'll take off the stickers and put new ones on, or put the same ones on, because you can't really reuse stickers on the original base game of Gloomhaven. You have to get the removable sticker set so you can reattach them and unattach them. Different achievements that you've gotten through your play quest, and the prosperity meter, which is how much prosperity you have in the world. This game is absolutely massive. You have pieces for each monster type. You have pieces for different terrain that you'll see on the map. You have cards for the monsters on their attacks. You have cards for your own player, because each character has their own player deck. You have boss monster tiles. You have miniatures for your character. You have hit point trackers. You have other trackers. You have spell trackers. You have coins. You have hit point trackers and experience trackers per each player. On top of that, you have different monster cards letting you know how much health they have and what attack they do. You have different status tiles. You have holders for the monsters and other things. You have so many cards, so many things. Each character has their own kind of holder for all their decks and their character information. This is the encyclopedia of board games. This is not a game you just walk into a store and go, I'm gonna buy this today. You need to plan your life around Gloomhaven, especially if you plan on finishing it. Now, that could also be a con in the game. A lot of people don't have 2 to 3 hours to spend on quests, on leveling up, on playing a game. If you have families, work, it's a lot of stuff to do. And if trying to get 4 people to play a game together is not easy unless you live together or you're in a college area or you live with family, that you can be like, cool, I can easily open this up and play it. On top of that, this is Dungeons & Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons takes weeks, months, years to complete. So just like Gloomhaven, it's gonna be that same exact concept. It's gonna take you 6 months, if not a year, to completely beat this game. And that's just saying like how many characters there are. This is like half of the amount of characters are in this game, and each character has a miniature. This is literally, you can see my excitement in this game. It's absolutely incredible what they have created, what they have done. If you ever wanted to play Skyrim in a board game, this is literally that game. This is the amount of side quests you have in this game, just like in a video game. Oh cool, I want to do side quests to level up my character so I can unlock this to next do that. How we played the game was we wanted to do all the side quests first so we can level up as much as possible. And then we decided how we wanted to play. And the more quests you do, it will start blocking off other quests depending on what quest line you choose. Do you want to be good? Do you want to be bad? Do you want to kill that person? Do you want to keep them alive? That's going to affect your game. What they thought of in this is absolutely incredible. I've never seen a game like this before. I've never played a game like this before, and and my mind is bonkers. Check out Frosthaven as well. It's already kickstarted. I think it already ended. It comes out the end of this year. Maybe it might get delayed a little bit because of all the shipments and stuff, but I cannot wait for Frosthaven to come in. Look, y'all, I'm dumbfounded about this game. Difficulty of this game is high. It's about a 4 out of 5, I would say. You have a lot to remember. You're gonna have to go to the rulebook a lot. You're gonna have to look online a lot. What does this status mean? What does this mean? What happens if this? You're gonna have to do a lot of research while you're playing the game, and that could scare off a lot of people. Not only the time to play the game, but the setup. The setup of Gloomhaven sometimes could be longer than a quest. You're setting up a lot. You're setting up the quest, you're setting up the pieces you're using, you're then leveling up, you're choosing your characters, you're setting up the monsters, you're setting up the terrain, you're setting up the hit points, you're setting up the coins, you're setting up the city cards. That takes probably an hour, sometimes a little bit less, depending on how you have things organized. I organized my own. I took a bunch of cardboard and I took a bunch of styrofoam and I kind of glued it all together and I made my own holders for things because without this, I can't even imagine how long setup would be if I did not have any organization. You're kind of forced to buy an organizer in this game because it doesn't give you anything. It's pretty much hollowed out. You can see, other than the character stuff, it's pretty much a hollowed out game. So that's where it kind of sucks that they didn't give you an organizer or a better way to organize this game, and I hope they do for Frosthaven, because then you can either spend $75 on its own holders, own organizers, or build your own, which again, most people don't have the time for that. Now the artwork is incredibly detailed. The boards are incredibly detailed. The monsters, the characters, the miniatures, they are done so beautifully and intricately that it makes you want to keep on going. And the story and the writing is incredible. What keeps me going for those big games like Skyrim and Dungeons & Dragons is the writing of the game. How is the storyline? Does it captivate me? Do I care about these players? Do I care about these characters? And this game latches onto you like a hook in the water, and it does not let you go. And there are some moments as the longer you progress where you kind of forget where things happen because you're playing this for a long time, 6 months, maybe longer, maybe shorter, and you kind of forget certain people, you kind of forget certain quest lines. I kind of got into an area where I would do a lot of side quests and forget the main quest a little bit, and I kind of forgot like the big stuff where I was like, oh man, I wish I maybe didn't do as many side quests, or I wish I did play this more often than I did. But again, it's hard to get 4 people to play together when you're all working. Here are my custom inserts that I made for organizing these tiles. Here are some terrain tiles that you'll find that you'll put on the board, bushes, mines, and traps. And I just cut out styrofoam and I just laid out these pieces inside and underneath this cardboard that I glued to it. You can see just the artwork is just incredible what they did. So here's something that I created myself. I printed out these custom organizers for this deck, and I was able to just put the monster deck inside the styrofoam so I know where I'm gonna find this. But again, if you don't make something like this or have something like this, you're kinda on your own, which makes it a little bit difficult. Here's the inside of the box. You see all of the characters right here with their own deck. Character miniatures would be here, more decks of cards here, holders, item cards, more monster cards. This is just massive. You see all this space inside because there's no organizer. That's where the other organizers would come into play. So inside the character envelope is your own character card, how to play the game, your hit points, how you level up, and some lore on the character. Some upgrade cards as you upgrade your deck, some component items, the upgrade deck and the starting deck, which is in here, and your character information. So the name you put, the level you are, the perks you get, your goals, your items, your XP notes, your notes, everything you need to write down on here. And they give you a lot of them, so the more you play or the more characters that play as them, which is great. And you can always print more online. And that's in every single character envelope inside. And as you can see, there are tons of them in here. Now, as you play Gloomhaven, everything is going to be in this campaign book right here. All your quests are in here. You start off as number 1, Black Barrow. You read the description, you read the introduction, and as you pass through certain areas, things might initiate. But another thing about Gloomhaven that's kind of difficult is it shows you everything at once, and you're technically supposed to build each room separately. So you're not supposed to know what monsters are in each room, but because it's kind of open for everyone to know, you see it. But that's why you choose a dungeon master to only see this. Nobody else really knows. It tells you what tiles you need, what you'll need to build the game, your introduction areas, what tiles you'll need for the maps, and that's where these come in, where you start building your world, and each area is a place you can move to. And this booklet is massive. As you can see, it goes to different areas. There's so many quest lines in here, and each one has its own story, and the writing is so incredible. Now, this is the Gloomhaven rulebook, and it is massive. It teaches you so much. But it's very well written and very well organized. They did a really good job with this rulebook on where to find things. There's an index, and Board Game Geek is an incredible place to find even more information on this. But it's a lot of information, and it could take a lot of hours and time to teach people how to play this game. I mean, this is 51 pages of information that you're going through. So the first game you play is going to take you a very long time. There's different ways, different variations, there's so many things. It's a lot. I would easily give this game a 10 out of 10.
Yeah!
Absolutely. This is not a party game. This is not a game you bring to a friend's house to play really fast. This is a huge campaign of a game. This is not a game you pick up really fast and you bring over to a friend's house. This is a game where you plan accordingly. You get 4 friends, 3 friends, 2 friends, and you go, okay, for the next X amount of months, we're gonna be playing this game, and we're gonna take notes, and we're gonna remember stuff. This game asks you to remember stuff and write things down. There are riddles and puzzles in this game. It's amazing. It's literally amazing. But I'm also a big fan of fantasy. I'm also a big fan of campaign games. I'm also a big fan of leveling up and RPG style games, and you might not be, and that's totally fine. Just know what you're getting yourself into, that this is not a walk in the park game. This is a war game. You are going to war with whoever you want to fight. You choose your character, whoever you want to fight. So the game starts out giving you a couple characters you can choose from, so you're not bogged down and being overwhelmed by all the 20 plus characters you can choose. So from there, you can choose a tank, a healer, support, spell, etc. And you're like, okay, cool, I can kind of choose my vein. And each character then gets their own objectives, which you would complete, which helps you level up your character, which helps you unlock a new character. And there's different quest lines and different ways to unlock all of the characters. And it's just beautiful. The art is exquisite. Every detail you see on the desks, on the monsters, on the miniatures. The way they have organized the cards is very well done too. You know what the cards mean, you know what they say, you know what they do. They've created a whole new world for gamers, and that's not easy to do, especially taking a game like Dungeons & Dragons and making it a board game, which I think makes it more accessible for other players. Not everyone, Dungeons & Dragons has this, huge lifespan of so many campaigns and quests, and some people think about it and go, oh, I don't want to play Dungeons & Dragons. And so this game might be an easier way into that style of play. Now, one thing I should say is the difference between Dungeons & Dragons and Gloomhaven is there's no dice rolling in this game. You're not rolling dice to see, how much damage you're doing or how much this versus this. This is all based on cards. Each character comes with their own deck of cards that you will, as you upgrade, you add new cards to your deck, which are attack and move cards. So it's all card-based. If this game interests you in the slightest, I definitely recommend getting it, but make sure you have your group of players that know they're going to be in for a long, long game. And it's a great way to play first before Frosthaven comes out. It's a 10 out of 10, it's incredible. Negatives of this game don't bog it down enough to not get it. The long setup time, the organization element of it, the kind of convoluted rule set, which kind of is a lot. It's a steep learning curve. But once you get it, and if you're from those backgrounds of knowing Dungeons & Dragons or knowing those big campaign fantasy games like Skyrim, it's easier to understand this game. This is not for your casual gamer friends. This is a hardcore game that is for people that know about games and love games and want to live in the world of games, where you see a quest and you're curious about it and your curiosity takes you there. That's what this game is made for. Leveling up your character, equipping new items, equipping new spells, finding out the lore and the understanding of this world. Something like Horizon Forbidden West. Those type of games where you live in a world, this is a board game of that huge open world fantasy style game.